Wherever you're watching, across the pond, overseas, from your living room, glad to have you with us as the 49ers and Jags play in the second NFL game in the International Series of this season. And we welcome down on the field Jennifer Hale. Jennifer?
Well, Chris, this has been an especially challenging and emotional week for Jaguars head coach Gus Bradley. His father, Roy, passed away at the age of 86 last weekend, so he did not initially make this trip with the team. He went home to help his family bury his father. He rejoined the team here in England on Wednesday, and when he walked out onto the practice field, his players gave him a huge round of applause. Coach is trying to downplay the situation, but his players aren't allowing him. In fact, Pozlosny told me that they have talked about winning this game specifically for him and his father. Chris?
One of the most positive people you can meet. In fact, that's why he was hired as the head coach by ownership in Jacksonville, the rookie head coach looking for his first win. Gus Bradley coming over from the Seattle Seahawks. And to a man, the Jacksonville Jags did not sound like an 0-7 football team. Our weather so far so good here in London. It's cool but very comfortable. Now in the forecast, a chance for blustery winds and heavy rain coming in later this evening. So it's in the forecast. Both teams have prepared for that.
At this point, Chris, I don't think the wind's going to affect the passing game in Chad Henne and Colin Kaepernick. It is very, very windy outside of Wembley Stadium. The way this thing is built, really it feels like there's no wind inside the venue here.
There's a partial roof here at Wembley Stadium. Does not close enough to keep some of the raindrops out that may fall later. Well, Jacksonville won the toss. They defer. That means they will get the ball to start the second half, wanting to kick it off and play defense against a 49er team that has scored in excess of 30 points in each of the last 4 games. Week 8 underway in London with the 49ers and Jacksonville Jags. It's Kyle Williams, and the ball is out. Loose inside the 25-yard line of San Francisco. And somehow the 49ers retain possession of the football. One of the things the 49ers discussed was protecting the football and how the turnover ratio relates to wins. Kyle Williams fumbled it, and he also recovered it.
And this is what Jacksonville really, they're going to need these types of plays, and it just gets ripped out right there from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kyle Williams lucky to come up with it. John Lutalele right there knocks it out. Jacksonville has only forced 7 takeaways all year. They're going to need those kind of plays, but they're going to need to recover them to stay and win this game.
Frank Gore gets the carry on first down, trying to find room, and gets across the 25-yard line as we check the starting lineups. No team has used the run more on offense this season than the 49ers, and that includes their quarterback. They average over 143 rushing yards a game.
And a guy that's been a big part of it, everyone gets credit, but Bruce Miller, the fullback, is getting a lot of play opportunities. He's been a terrific blocker behind this outstanding offensive line. Follow Mike Iupati, number 77, the offensive guard. He'll typically take you to the football.
Second down, 8, extra lineman in, the pass complete. That's Bruce Miller. All the way down inside the 30-yard line of Jacksonville.
Chris, we talked about execution in the open. This is as bad as it gets for the Jacksonville defense. They've got nobody covering Bruce Miller, the fullback, who is split out near the sideline. Can't see it from this look here, but there is no defender covering him up out there. That is pitch and catch for Colin Kaepernick.
A 43-yard gain, excuse me, Tim. Bruce Miller's 3rd on the team in receiving, so it should not be a surprise. He went out for the pass. Just across the 30, Kaepernick on first down, throws it complete for Kyle Williams. It'll be 2nd and 10. Checking the Jacksonville defensive lineup. And all you can say, at least the 49ers players said that they have gotten hits on the opposing quarterback every game they've played, and that includes maybe their best defensive game, which came against Peyton Manning and the Broncos.
That's because they were able to get pressure with that front 4. The defensive lineman, Pozlosny, is having a very nice year right in the middle of the linebacker. He'll be key today. A couple of rookies playing free safety, and strong safety will be challenged by the middle of the field passing game. The 49ers love to attack.
On second down, hand off to Frank Gore, who gets down to the 25 of Jacksonville, where it will bring up 3rd down and 5.
I think if you look, Chris, at San Francisco, and in their 2 losses, 21 runs a game. In their 5 wins, 36 runs per game for the running backs, and they can just lull you to sleep. And the volume and the variety of their running plays is ridiculous. They force defenses, as we'll see Jacksonville here tonight playing on their heels, because you just really don't get any feeling on where the ball's going in terms of the tendencies.
3rd and 5. Kaepernick has time from the pocket and can run. Slides down right around the 20-yard line. That yellow line is superimposed as a marker to see if they're going to give him first down progress. And it's not. It's a 4th down. The officials rule 4th and short. And he got hit hard at the end of the play.
It looks like Geno Hayes, number 55, is going to be putting the spy on Colin Kaepernick. You see 55 right there. Kaepernick slides down and then gets pounded from behind the defensive lineman, and Derek Morris.
49ers are going for it on 4th and less than a yard. An extra lineman in. Frank Gore's the back. Frank Gore gets the carry, and he gets the first down. Frank Gore averages more than 4 yards a carry, so when you need less than 1, that's where Jim Harbaugh is going to go. In fact, over the last 4 weeks, nobody's run the ball better than Frank Gore.
You don't need a big hole for Frank Gore to squeeze through. And here comes Yapati, like I talked about. Frank Gore, and Greg Roman said it, the offensive coordinator. He said this guy is the best power runner in pro football because he can really slide through tiny cracks. Good effort.
Opening drive from the 19-yard line on 1st and 10. Kendall Hunter is the back. Kaepernick rolls, throws, incomplete for Kyle Williams on the sideline. Kaepernick comes in with 8 touchdown passes and just 5 interceptions. And, of course, has run the ball. He averages 6 runs a game.
And he's just buying time outside Colin Kaepernick. Throws a pretty good ball there where only Kyle Williams could get it. That ball has got so much heat on it. Kaepernick has got a rocket arm. Put it right on the money there just to the outside for Kyle Williams, who couldn't hang on.
Frank Gore straight ahead. Frank Gore is in the end zone in London. San Francisco strikes first and gets a quick 6. The 8th play of the drive. After botching the kickoff and recovering, the 49ers march in for the touchdown. 6th rushing touchdown of the season for Frank Gore, and on to try the extra point is Phil Dawson. Andy Lee, the holder. There are Jag fans and 49er fans, soccer and football fans from all over. And they see the defending NFC champion 49ers build a 7-0 first quarter lead over the Jags.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Along with Tim Wright, Chris Myers, and our NFL crew, that's Frank Gore, who has led the 49er attack throughout this season as they aim for their 5th straight win and his 6th rushing touchdown of the season.
Talked a minute ago about Frank Gore squeezing through tiny cracks and small holes. Huge hole there provided by his offensive line. Center Jonathan Goodwin, left guard Mike Yapati, and the right guard Alex Boone, all locked up on their guys, and Frank didn't get touched.
His offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, said he's the best trap runner ever. His head coach, Jim Harbaugh, called him a mystic kind of runner as Phil Dawson kicks off, and Jordan Todman is standing at the goal line for Jacksonville, and he has trouble hanging on. And he'll barely get up to the 9-yard line. Qasim Osgood, who had a special teams touchdown last week for San Francisco on the tackle. San Francisco has the lead. We'll check Jacksonville trying to play catch up in a moment.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Look at these 3 terrific blocks. And Derek Marks was really never in his stance, the defensive tackle. He got pushed out there by Alex Boone. Yapati gets on the linebacker, Geno Hayes, and again, Gore doesn't get touched till he gets close to the goal line.
Jacksonville first possession starting at their own 9-yard line with Chad Henne, and Maurice Jones-Drew gets the carry. Trying to find room. He gets outside, falls down up near the 20-yard line, stays in bounds. Maurice Jones-Drew, the all-time touchdown leader in Jacksonville history, gets the first carry here and gets the first down.
Yeah, and look at the block he gets from his tight end, Mercedes Lewis, who is back in the lineup and healthy. He played last week, but really the first time he's been completely healthy. He'll have a big impact right there. He's like an extra offensive lineman. Terrific block creating the edge for Maurice Jones-Drew.
This is the healthiest the Jaguars have been all season long. Chad Henne's first throw is incomplete, aiming at the 25-yard line for Justin Blackman, and we check the offense. Chad Henne, his 5th start of this season. Blaine Gabbert is healthy, his backup, and Henne aiming for his 3rd straight 300-yard passing performance.
The strength of this offense is those 2 receivers. Cecil Shorts, big play waiting to happen. Justin Blackman has been on a tear the last 3 games. They are challenged up front now, having really lost Eugene Monroe via trade and Luke Jokel to an injury.
Jokel was their #1 draft pick. They have 10 rookies on this roster. It's a very young football team. Meanwhile, the 49ers, this group leading the NFL with 75 points on takeaways, and they have had an interception in 4 straight games.
Yeah, Cowboy Justin Smith playing great. 2 sacks last week. Navarro Bowman in the middle. I think he's a top 3 inside linebacker. Eric Reed, the rookie. Chris, not playing like a rookie. He's really played well this year for the 49ers.
An early 3rd down test for Chad Henne, and this Jacksonville offense, they need 7 yards, and they're going to use a timeout. 3 per half. They burn 1. They'll have 2 remaining. 49ers took the opening drive and marched into the end zone. There is Blaine Gabbert, who was drafted #1 to lead this franchise. Started the season, was injured. Henne has taken over, and it's his job to keep, even though both quarterbacks are healthy. Well, both teams, Tim Ryan, were here from earlier in the week. The 49ers came right from Nashville, Tennessee. Each of the players told us it took us a while to get our sleep adjusted traveling through the various time zones. We hope we're ready on Sunday.
Well, we feel the same way, don't we? I mean, I've been here since Tuesday morning, and it is an adjustment period for sure. In talking to both teams, I mean, to me, San Francisco seemed a little bit tight and a little bit stressed out. That, of course, has not transferred here to the game. Jacksonville seemed extremely loose, nothing to lose attitude.
On 3rd and 7, Henne has time from the pocket, fires, and gets it between the 2 defenders for a completion and a first down to Cecil Shorts, who goes by Cecil Shorts III, his 40th catch, which leads this team.
Nice little combination route out here, which really opens up a space in the zone. You're going to see, and the area is going to be right here, but they take the inside receiver and run him out, and it clears it out. Cecil Shorts comes back inside, sliding right inside of Navarro Bowman for the big 3rd down.
Maurice Jones-Drew on first down is knocked back at the line of scrimmage. Maurice Jones-Drew averaging just 3 yards, a little bit over that for this season. He's got almost 7,500 career yards, and as a guy brought his family on the trip, who really is the heartbeat of this offense, as the players told us. He's the energy of this team.
You watch the tape, Maurice Jones-Drew is still running hard. He's got to have some success today. If they get one-dimensional in the pass game and have to rely on it, it could be a disaster.
In his 8th season, he gets the carry. Still can't find much room getting across the 40. Maurice Jones-Drew only at 5'7" by NFL Pro Football standards. That's a little guy.
Yeah, he may be short, but he's not small. He is a wide load, and Glenn Dorsey just found out. He's trucked him for an extra yard or 2. He's been battling injuries. I mean, last year it was the foot. It's kept him out most of the season for the Jaguars. This year he's been battling an ankle injury. Big fan. Maurice Jones-Drew.
He checks out on 3rd down. Ace Sanders comes in, another 5'7" receiver who can run with anybody. Henne, incomplete. Here comes a flag. He's trying to get the ball to Mike Brown, and Sanders was on that side of the field.
Looks like they're going to get Carlos Rogers for some foul here on Mike Brown, who he'll be working out of the slot, matched up most of this game when they get into their 3 wide receiver sets.
Holding. defense, number 22. That was before the pass was thrown. 5-yard penalty enforced for the previous spot and an automatic first down.
He said it was prior to the play, so no pass interference because of the holding. It's 5 yards. The first down, they put the ball across the 45, officially at the 46-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10. I don't think Jim Harbaugh agreed with that call. Ace Sanders is the running back, and he gets the carry. Correction on that. Denard Robinson, number 16, the rookie from Michigan, who they will use quite a bit at running back. They've tried him at receiver this season, but he hasn't been able to hold on to the football.
Chris, I don't know if they really know what they want to do with Denard Robinson, except get him the ball any way that they can. I mean, he started as an offensive weapon, right? That was his label when he got to Jacksonville, and within the last couple weeks, they turned him into a wide receiver, and now he's back here running the ball.
Trying to find room, he'll lose yardage. Going nowhere is Denard Robinson as Ahmad Brooks makes the stop. By the way, Chad Henne, who played his college football at Michigan, broke the passing records there of Jim Harbaugh, the 49er head coach. Denard Robinson also having success at Michigan.
He was an electrifying runner at Michigan. That cat, Denard Robinson, rushed for over 4,000 yards as a quarterback. It's big-time stuff.
Another third down. They need 8. Justin Forsett checks in at running back, number 21. Henne to Forsett. He'll be dragged down short of the first down, and that will bring up 4th down. Navarro Bowman, the leading tackler for this 49er team, making sure that Forsett didn't get near the first down marker.
That's the area Jacksonville's got to stay out of that situation now. 3rd and long down in distances. It has been awful for them this year. San Francisco just lined up in man coverage across the board, 2 deep safeties. Bowman, of course, on the running back, tackled him before he could get to the first down mark.
Ryan Anger averaging 47 yards a punt in the air and into the end zone. Jags missing a chance on gaining field position there. So it's a touchback. It will come out to the 20-yard line after a 49-yard punt. The 49ers, they have the lead in London and the football.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Ford. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. By the Galaxy Note 10.1, the next big thing is here. And by Bank of America.
We welcome you back to the NFL on Fox at Wembley Stadium. Open to 2007, same site as 1923, has been reworked. And tonight, Game 4 of the World Series on Fox from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, another stadium that has been refurbished and rebuilt, and they're fired up about the Cardinal 2-1 series advantage after controversy ended in Game 3, giving St. Louis the victory. From the 20-yard line, Frank Gore the back. He scored the touchdown. That's the fullback, Bruce Miller, lining up at the bottom of your screen. He had the big catch to set up the touchdown. Kaepernick, with time, goes the other way. And incomplete for Anquan Bolden. Here comes a penalty flag. Will Blackman was all over.
Pass interference, defense, number 24. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Big challenge for these Jags if they're going to play man coverage, as they do here. Will Blackman turns his head back at Anquan Bolden and then has contact. That's an easy call for the officials to make. Big challenge, that young secondary playing against this wide receiver group that knows what they're doing.
31-yard penalty, first down inside Jacksonville territory, and here goes Frank Gore, and this time the Jags bottle him up. He carried 4 times for 30 yards on the opening drive. And we mentioned that the 49ers run 54% of the time. That's the most in the NFL. And of course, they have a quarterback who runs well.
And you got to feed the heart and soul of this team, Frank Gore. And as I said, big challenge for the secondary in Jacksonville against those wide receivers. Huge challenge for the linebackers. Trying to really, Chris, trust their eyes in what they see. The 49ers, so much misdirection run game. And when you're eager to make a play defensively, you can really get caught overrunning the run.
Kill!
Play clock running down, and you saw wisely Anquan Bolden signaling to the bench to get a timeout, or they would have had a delay a game call. You heard kill on the play. 49ers have a timeout. In between getting ready for the game, the players, 49ers and Jags, got out to sightsee here in London and surrounding areas, as did we. We enjoyed going by Abbey Road, the studios, and yes, that famous locale that Beatle and music fans know well. On 2nd down 9 after the timeout, Frank Gore the back. Each team now with 2 timeouts remaining here in the first half. Both Frank Gore and Bruce Miller split out to the left as receivers. That's top of your screen. Kaepernick incomplete for Miller, in and out of his hands.
You mentioned Colin Kaepernick coming to the line of scrimmage and yelling, kill, and the viewers at home can hear that. What he's doing, Chris, is he's killing the play that was called in the huddle. And he gets to the line of scrimmage, he gets the play call in the huddle, gets to the line of scrimmage, he gets a snapshot of what the defense is doing, how they're lining up. If he doesn't like it, he kills the play and changes it to the next play versus the defense he's seeing at the line of scrimmage.
He sees 5 defensive backs on 3rd down and 9. Look at the play clock counting down. 2, got it off in time. From the pocket, he has time, and is running toward the 1st down marker.
Colin Kaepernick sees nothing downfield, and watch what he does here to Andre Branch and puts him in the popcorn machine, a la Brett Favre, the great quarterback for many years of the Green Bay Packers. Challenged the line of scrimmage as a runner, then pump fake like you're going to throw. He gets the defender to get up in the air, buys himself some room, picks up a 1st down.
He came in averaging just under 6 yards a carry on the ground. He picked up the 1st down, now at the 39-yard line of Jacksonville. Remember, on their touchdown drive, they went for it on 4th and short. Another kill here on 1st down, so they're adjusting, Tim, as you explained, to what the defense is doing. And Frank Gore gets the carry at his swarm. Paul Posluszny, leading tackler of the Jags, on the play. Let's check in for Game Break with Kurt Menefee.
Well, we figured you just wanted to hear from us back in the States here in the studio. Lance Moore, back after missing 4 games with a hand injury, scores his first touchdown of the season for the Saints. They're up on Buffalo 7-0. Chris, Tim, and Jennifer.
All right, Kurt, from stateside, our home office near Hollywood, California. And Drew Brees piling up the numbers. The Saints and the Seahawks with the best records in the NFC. From the 38-yard line. Got a whistle here and another timeout.
Timeout San Francisco. That's their 2nd.
49ers will have 1 timeout remaining. It's 2nd down 9. The new Wembley Stadium, 85,000 expected here. Same site as the old Wembley, which, of course, has hosted everything from NFL games to Olympic events, soccer, football, and now the 49ers and Jags on 2nd and 9. From the 38-yard line, Kaepernick keeps the football and is knocked down inside the 35 of Jacksonville. It'll bring up 3rd down. Dwayne Gratz from his corner. Looked like Kaepernick didn't get those feet churning as quickly as he wanted.
I'm telling you, it's slick out there. I was on the field before the game. The grass is relatively long in comparison to what these guys are used to playing on, and it is slick, especially in the middle of the field with the way the roof's open. And that's that pistol, the pistol read right there. Kaepernick lines up 4 yards behind the center, running back behind him. Puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Well played by Posluszny. The middle linebacker forcing it to the side, and then, of course, Gratz eventually makes the tackle.
Frank Gore, receiver at the bottom of your screen. On 3rd down and 5. Kaepernick on the move, throwing and completes. Anquan Bolden goes out of bounds with a 49er 1st down. If Anquan Bolden looks familiar To many who haven't followed the 49ers, he, of course, was on the Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl team that defeated these 49ers, and then the Harbaugh brothers worked a trade, and he's been a big star in San Francisco.
And this play's all about Colin Kaepernick buying time with his legs, getting outside the pocket, which let Anquan Bolden develop right behind the linebackers as he's going in the same direction with the quarterback, giving him a nice big target.
21-yard gain. Frank Gore straight ahead. The Jags are ready this time. When I asked Greg Roman about, are you concerned not having impressive passing yardage numbers in a passing league, he said, well, with this running game, we throw it when we need to throw it. Usually, Tim, you hear guys say we run it in today's NFL when we need to run it.
Well, we all know the 49ers can run it year in and year out, and they're committed to the run, unlike most other teams in the NFL. But I believe we've watched them a lot. When they need to pass, wait till they get their other guys healthy. Their passing game's going to get better as this year goes on.
On second down 9, Kaepernick following some blockers to the left. Kaepernick has room, dives at the goal line, and yes, 49er touchdown. And he's Kaepernicking worldwide. Similar to the play he scored on untouched against the Tennessee Titans last Sunday in Nashville.
Now, you look at the 49ers here and watch Joe Staley get out in front right there, number 74, lead the way. He's able to just swallow up the cornerback on the play. Now, let's see if Kaepernick has got full possession of this football as he crosses over the pylon. He does. That's a touchdown.
It has been confirmed all scoring plays are looked at to make sure. And ready to make it 14-0 is Phil Dawson. After an 8-play, 80-yard drive. The 49ers came in red hot. Jacksonville looking for its first win. San Francisco has built a 14-0 opening quarter lead.
Joe Staley is so darn athletic, number 74, as you see him pull out on the pull, gets out on the corner, and what a lot of people don't know about Joe Staley is he was an outstanding 200-meter runner in track in high school, and the 49ers know how to utilize and take advantage of that speed. And a lot of Jacksonville Jaguars right there on the ground. Of course, Colin Kaepernick, Chris, he may be the fastest guy on the field. Hard to touch him.
He ran it 11 times last week. He's averaging about 6 or 7 runs a game, depending upon whether you call it a planned run or a scramble. And as he told us, Tim, we have more planned runs than we did last year. And this year, it doesn't mean we have to use them all the time.
I think the thing with their run game is it's all about getting first downs, earn first downs during a drive. And whether it be a second down and they're able to move the chains or they convert on third down, the more they can do that, the more they can really probe the defense. Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, can really start to set them up. And that's when you see those zone reads coming out of the same formations. Really tough on the defense.
That's Jordan Todman, who had a bit of a problem hanging onto the football, and it gave Jacksonville poor field position inside their own 10. They were able to march for a few first downs before punting as Phil Dawson gives him the boot. 3 yards deep. Here goes Todman, who's got room across the 20 and is brought down. Let's take a look at the NFL rally yesterday from inside the square, and it drew a crowd of about 45,000 fans.
My favorite team is the Jaguars. Go Ravens. Go Seahawks, baby. Go Vikings.
49ers are #1. The atmosphere here is electric.
And you know, there is a grassroots campaign of fans that began. They call themselves the Union Jacks, and they've become Jacksonville Jag fans. So we've seen NFL fans from a number of teams over here. But since the Jags will be playing for 3 more years, at least 1 home game here. And of course, a numerous amount of 49er fans have traveled over. They won here in 2010. And earlier this year, the Vikings and Steelers played in the NFL International Series. Chad Henne's throw is incomplete for Maurice Jones-Drew. Well, Jacksonville has to get it in gear, Tim, because they could be as positive as they want. We know they're a building team, but when you're down 14-0 to the team that played in the Super Bowl, and the best you scored during the year is 20 points in a game, you got to try and stay in this however you can.
Well, they got to start executing. I mean, Henne has not made real accurate throws, and he's only thrown it 4 times, but they have not been on the money. An easy little swing route like that to the running back, you got to put it on the money and give that guy a chance to break a tackle.
Maurice Jones-Drew with some tough yards before Patrick Willis brings him down across the 25-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down.
And you got to really wonder about the emotional stamina, right, of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 0-7 coming into this game on the ropes, down 14 early against the NFC champions from last year, the San Francisco 49ers. We've got to figure out how to fight through this adversity, execute better, Chris, and hang on to the ball. Their defense has got to go back on the field here in just a couple minutes if they can't convert here. Tough.
On 3rd down, the throw right on target but incomplete, out of bounds to Justin Blackman. And Justin Blackman came in since he, week 5 off the suspension list, has been the most targeted receiver, but also has the most catches and most yards. And what was near the 1st down, he didn't stay in bounds, and it's 4th down.
What you love about Blackman is he's super talented, dealt with a 4-game suspension, but dealt with it the right way. Got himself right, his mind right, and his body right. He has been on a tear.
Anger with the punt to Kyle Williams. No fair catch called for him. And he slips down up around the 28-yard line. After a 51-yard punt, let's head down to the field and Jennifer Hale. Jennifer?
Well, Chris, Tim mentioned the slick field earlier, and indeed it is. A lot of players out early, testing the field, trying to determine proper cleats. Now, I did speak with the groundskeepers just before the game, and they say they turned the drainage system on Tuesday to make sure there was no standing water on the field. 18 inches of soil and sand beneath my feet to pull that water down into. Now, this is a Deso field, same type as in Green Bay and Denver. It's stitched together, so hopefully there will be no tufts of turf coming up on the players' cleats, Chris.
Thank you, Jennifer. And 1st down. Another kill from the quarterback.
He's really Colin Kaepernick watching the safety right there. As soon as Cyprien moves, he changes the flag.
Frank Gore with a solid carry. And that's more and more Kaepernick, who really just completed his first full regular season in terms of number of games. Remember taking over last year and getting into action. They've given him more leeway at the line of scrimmage.
It's a very complicated offense, and Colin Kaepernick's got full command of it. You're right, Chris. I mean, it's only his 18th start. The great coaches in this league will tell you it start 32 through 40, whether or not you know a guy can do it or not. We know already, and we knew a long time ago Colin Kaepernick can do it. He's terrific.
Bring both fast! Bring both fast!
On 2nd and 5, Frank Gore straight ahead, and it'll bring up 3rd and short for the 49ers. The opening quarter winding down. The 49ers, a team that were interested in hosting more than just 1 or 2 home games here, but of course with the new stadium, will be ready next year. We were able to meet the owners, the ownership of both squads, spend time with them at the U.S. Embassy last night. The commissioner here as well has since flown out of town to attend the funeral of Bud Adams. On 3rd and 2 to Anquan Bolden. Gets a 1st down across the 40-yard line, and that will bring an end to the opening quarter. And just like the stats would tell you, it's been all 49ers so far. We'll see what kind of fight the Jags have in them away from home, but playing the host here in London.
And they're throwing up some of these looks and formations that I've never seen before. I know Jacksonville has never seen before. Colin Kaepernick had 3 guys lined up over there by the sideline, stacked up. Jacksonville is very confused at what they're seeing right now. Hard to play defense that way.
Not quite sure why the clock has stopped with 4 seconds remaining here. The officials are discussing.
There were no fouls on the play. Play results in a 1st down.
We saw that. And unless he went out of bounds or there was an official timeout, the clock should run and take us to the end.
There you go, Chris.
Of the opening quarter. The 49ers in control. Maybe it doesn't matter where they play. They lead 14-0 at the moment. You're watching the NFL on Fox. Along with Tim Ryan and Jennifer Hale, Chris Myers, and we're glad you're watching the NFL International Series. 49ers, the first team in league history to play 2 regular season games in London, and they have a 14-0 advantage here, marching 76 and 80 yards for touchdowns. Kyle Williams, the receiver, has it, slips a tackle, and gets across midfield. Here comes a flag. There's a penalty flag on the back end of that play. We also have a player slow getting up. Geno Hayes appears to be okay. Colin Kaepernick with a touchdown run after Frank Gore scored.
Jacksonville defensively completely out of sorts right now.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense, number 55. Late hit out of bounds, 15 yards and a first down.
That call against linebacker Geno Hayes. So after the 9-yard run and the 15-yard penalty, it'll set the 49ers up in good shape.
And here it is right here. You'll see 55, Geno Hayes. Right there. It was actually Cyprian, it looked like to me. It looked like 37. It was Cyprian, the rookie safety, who hits Kyle Williams late right there when he's clearly out of bounds on the white stripe. Boy, the 49ers, I mean, Jacksonville's stacking the box with these 8-9-man fronts, and the 49ers are just picking at them. That last one, Kyle Williams, going to the outside.
34-yard line. Kaepernick sets to throw and has time for Bolden, who can't hang on. Alvin Ball was right with him. I want to go back, Tim, to that formation where even the officials had to gather to make sure it wasn't an illegal lineup.
And I think what the officials are looking for, and they didn't know, I mean, you got to have 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. So there's 6 there. There's the 7th, Bruce Miller. And the officials, I don't think, have seen this formation, so they were trying to figure out whether there was a penalty or not. And that's why Ed Hockley came out and, as they figured out, said there was not a penalty, and then they let the clock run down.
Second down 10. And the Jags ready for Frank Gore. Let's get a game break. Check yet again with Kurt Menefee.
Well, look at this. Miami at New England. Ryan Tannehill hooks up with Daniel Thomas. 14-0. The struggles of the Patriots continue. They got 17 total yards and 1 first down in the second quarter. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. The Dolphins will be one of those teams playing in London next year as part of the NFL International Series. The Dolphins and Raiders will play here, along with the Falcons and Lions and the Cowboys and Jacksonville. And Jacksonville using a timeout. They will have 1 remaining, along with San Francisco. And, you know, Gus Bradley knows this 49er team well. He, of course, the last few seasons in Seattle, where he saw San Francisco twice a year.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Surface, the one device for everything in your life.
The London Eye here. A large Ferris wheel. Nighttime in the United Kingdom as we welcome you back.
Hope you got plenty of time on your hands. About 45 minutes to go around one time there on the London Eye big Ferris wheel.
But a great view of everything down below. A lot of history. After the timeout by Jacksonville. On third down. Kaepernick is out of the pocket. All the way down to the 15. Another 49er first down. When he doesn't see anything open, he runs.
I think this was a design run watching Colin Kaepernick. I mean, they got a 5-man protection. They've got everybody split out. They're running off all the defenders. Colin Kaepernick does not see a spy in the middle of the field. It's a 4-man rush, not good pressure from Jacksonville. He's just going to find the crease, and he's going to go. And Puzlesny, the middle linebacker, was about 20 yards deep in coverage. That's too easy against Colin Kaepernick.
A 17-yard gain from the 16 of Jacksonville.
If you're going to play those against those 5-man protections, you better keep a spy in or he's going to run.
He fires complete to Anquan Bolden, who has a first and goal 49ers.
Boy, I don't know, Chris, if the 49ers are that good or Jacksonville at this point is really that bad. This doesn't even look fair. I mean, they are just picking at him both in the run and in the passing game. Look at the velocity on this football. Low to the inside, perfect ball location.
Kaepernick is 4 out of 8 for 82 yards. He's the leading rusher in the game with 46 yards on the ground. Extra linemen are in. From the 2, it's Bruce Miller, who bounces outside but can't get away. Tackle made in the safety position to keep him from getting into the end zone. San Francisco has scored on 2 long drives, and Jim Harbaugh had a lot of time to sit over here and come up with creative plays. Wants his team to get more on 2nd and goal.
San Francisco already 25 plays in this game because they're 4 of 5 on 3rd down. Jacksonville has only rolled out 12 plays so far.
Kaepernick has it. End zone throw. Touchdown, Vernon Davis. His 7th touchdown catch of the season.
Remember I talked about earlier just the illusion. I mean, San Francisco, they're showing the defense it's all run. There's Vernon Davis. They don't even have a wide receiver on the field. They got 2 running backs. They got 2 tight ends, an extra offensive lineman. They show run. Russell Allen, the linebacker on Vernon Davis, takes the bait, and that's just too easy. Jacksonville getting outplayed and thoroughly outcoached here early in this game.
I mean, you have to worry about Frank Gore down at the goal line. So Vernon Davis comes up clean, and the extra point. It's 21-0 San Francisco. We told you they came in scoring 30 points in each of their last 4 games. Looks like they're headed in that direction once again overseas. Combination of Frank Gore and Vernon Davis. 13 touchdowns. That's just those 2 alone compared to the entire Jacksonville team. Jags have scored just 7 touchdowns.
That's demoralizing. Chris, it's nothing that 49ers haven't shown on tape. I mean, they give you the illusion that it's all run, and then they throw out of it. Jacksonville clearly was not prepared on that play. They took the bait and played the run.
Dawson has been busy kicking off. Jordan Todlin will watch it bounce and roll, and then he picks it up. And he's been quite an adventure back there on 3 returns. The 49ers have made it difficult on the kickoff. Some cops are born, others are made. This November, get ready for the next evolution of cop drama. It's the show critics are calling obsession-worthy and one of the best new series this fall. Almost Human. The 2-night series premiere starts Sunday, November 17th on Fox. Well, the 49ers have been almost perfect, building a 21-0 lead. Here comes a flag and a penalty from the Jacksonville 12-yard line.
Encroachment out of bed into the quarterback defense, number 91. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
The call on Ray McDonald. I mentioned they were almost perfect, and right on cue, there's a penalty for San Francisco.
You know the mentality now of those defensive linemen, up 21 points here in the 2nd quarter. They're all about getting those sacks, baby, and rolling off the football. And they caught Ray McDonald that time.
On 2nd down, Henny's throw is incomplete for Justin Blackman. And that was actually on 1st down and 5. Let's head to Kurt Menefee for game break.
And how about the Buffalo Bills? Keeping pace with New Orleans, Thad Lewis still in at quarterback, hooking up with Stevie Johnson, tying the game at 7 midway through the 2nd quarter in New Orleans. Chris, Tim, and Jennifer.
Next, Kurt, the standings. Doug Marrone has done a terrific job in Buffalo as the rookie head coach. Maurice Jones-Drew trying to break some tackles. Gus Bradley, the rookie head coach for Jacksonville, still hoping his team can find their first win. This is week 8 in the NFL.
He's all about being positive, right? And those are the Pete Carroll traits that he learned up in Seattle there from Pete Carroll, acting as his defensive coordinator. But I'd like to hear if the flow of this game keeps going like it's going, and it's clearly all San Francisco. I'd love to hear that positive vibe coming from Gus Bradley in the locker room. How do you create that at halftime?
A long plane ride back either way. On 3rd down and 5, the pass to Justin Forsett. And there were tacklers ready to greet him. Patrick Willis ahead of the game. I mentioned earlier this is the 49ers' second regular season game here. And Tampa Bay and New England, those franchises have played twice over here in London in the NFL International Series.
These 49ers have just got a killer instinct. You see Patrick Willis that time, who he is just ripping and tearing at the ball. Forsett's got it, Pump comes back inside, and Patrick Willis has got his mind made up. He's going to try to rip that thing out.
Anger with the punt. Fair catch called for. That's number 20 by Kyle Williams. That is the most fair catches in the National Football League. The 49ers, trying to work their way back to the Super Bowl, are leading in London 21-0.
Today's game is sponsored by the new 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
'49ers touchdown on each of their first 3 possessions. Look at those drives. 76, 80, 72 yards. They control the ball. They control the scoreboard. They control the game.
And this is really, I think, the worst fear of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The 49ers, I mean, tomorrow is going to mark the 11th day of this road trip they're on. And emotionally, of course, mentally, physically, and how they're playing, there has been no issues with this football team. They are sharp.
From the 37-yard line, Colin Kaepernick wide open. That's Vernon Davis. Now he's inside the 35 of Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's got man coverage called on this. I don't know how you stay with it when they see this set. I mean, the outside guy comes in, Vernon Davis, who's lined up tight to the line of scrimmage, he goes out, and Josh Thomas, who's inside, Josh Evans, excuse me, there's just no way. He and Cyprien on the inside lined up in man coverage. He gets picked off. You've got to change up your coverage and pass him out to the outside defender. Not good.
After a 31-yard gain, Frank Gore is knocked down at the 30. Well, I asked Vernon Davis when we met with him over here in London, are the 49ers a better team than the one last year that went to the Super Bowl? And he said, yeah, even without Michael Crabtree and Mario Manningham, who will be back later in the year, I think we're better and will be that much better when they return healthy.
Well, the quarterback's better. I know that. And you talk about getting Crabtree back. I mean, they'll be at their best in December when it counts the most. And I'll say this, Vernon Davis is way better as a route runner and lining up as a wide receiver.
Kaepernick rolling out. Pass is caught. That's Davis again, and he won't go down. Vernon Davis, who said he used to watch video of tight ends to learn from, now he's watching receiver video.
Watch how wide open he is here. Another bust by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, there is nobody. He, to me, is the most complete tight end in pro football. And Jacksonville's letting him run free.
Already a touchdown catch in this game. Vernon Davis in his 8th season. #1 draft pick, and yeah, he's been to the Pro Bowl. Kendall Hunter gives Frank Gore a breather.
And as you said, I mean, he started out watching Antonio Gates, watching Tony Gonzalez. Vernon Davis has always wanted to be great since he got to San Francisco as a very high draft pick. And then over the last several years, has started to change his game in terms of being a better route runner. He knows how physically gifted he is. He sees, the Andre Johnsons, these great Terrell Owens in his prime. He sees how good those guys are as route runners. He said, I can do that. He learned how to do it. It's really hard for defenders to cover him. Major matchup problem.
Kaepernick for the end zone and knocked away, or Vernon Davis would have had another one. Alan Ball with maybe the best defensive play we've seen in this game from Jacksonville.
That's just a really good job by Alan Ball, sinking to the wide receiver. because Colin Kaepernick, looking at Vernon Davis, thought he had Vernon Davis on that corner route. At the last minute, Allen Ball, the corner, just gets into his back pedal and is able to lift up perfect timing and knock that ball down before Vernon can get it.
Ball is the fastest player on the Jacksonville defense, and that is the best throw. Colin Kaepernick's best throw on a routine basis is the corner route. Not that time.
Vernon Davis right there on Cyprien one-on-one.
And it's 3rd and 7. Kaepernick fools and touchdown. He's got 2 today. 3 rushing touchdowns for the season.
Yeah, remember I said earlier about being eager on defense to make a play and desperate almost. A couple of defenders very, very eager to make a play, and watch right there and right here. They both go this way. Colin Kaepernick's going the other way, and he's just too fast. Chris, if you get a misstep going in the wrong direction, there's no way you're going to stay with Colin Kaepernick, and Vernon Davis doing a great job on Cyprien out on the edge.
The other end of Vernon Davis's play, he catches, he blocks. The extra point here to make it 28-0. Colin Kaepernick is 6'4", 230 pounds, and smiling from ear to ear. He hides that ball well. He's in the end zone for the 2nd time today. Tim Ryan, Jennifer Hale, Chris Myers, and Wembley Stadium, where the 49ers have made it their home away from home despite Jacksonville being the host team. A 63-yard drive after 80 yards and then 2 drives of more than 70. Colin Kaepernick has run for a couple of scores, and he's thrown a touchdown pass to Vernon Davis. You throw in a Frank Gore score, and it's 28-0 as Phil Dawson kicks off. Field position has been a problem along with everything else, including holding onto the football by Todman, who slips a tackle. Jordan Todman gets knocked down at the 38-yard line. Special team star for San Francisco, C.J. Spillman, ran him down. A 41-yard return against what is usually a very good kick coverage unit.
Sometimes when you're returning balls, if you don't get the ball corralled right away, it can be disaster or it can be a benefit because it throws off the timing of the coverage units. Jordan Todman finds a little crease. Finally, C.J. Spillman able to take him down.
Best field position of the game. Pass is caught by Justin Blackman. Blackman, who had been bothered by a hamstring. Former first-round pick from Oklahoma State.
What you fear now is possibly their best player on offense, Maurice Jones-Drew, is eliminated in terms of being a big part of this game plan as a runner. 28-0, 7 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. Jacksonville will officially at some point here become one-dimensional with the pass, I would think.
Maurice Jones-Drew going forward. They haven't used him much as a receiver this year, but he came in with 10 catches. He's certainly capable out of the backfield. But Chad Henne did mention to us, Tim, that they have a no-huddle, hurry-up offense in the game plan. They may not have to go to it a lot sooner than they planned.
Now, the problem is, and you'd love to see up-tempo, but if you can't convert on 3rd down, which they haven't been able to do, you're off the field in a heartbeat, and your defense is right back out there and clearly worn down.
3rd down, they're 1 out of 4. Here it's 3rd and 4 from the 45. Justin Forsett, top of your screen, splits out as a receiver from the backfield. Empty backfield for Henne. In trouble and has to throw it out of bounds in the neighborhood of Mike Brown, but the pressure was on. And it's 4th down. Rookie Corey Lemonnier out of Auburn keeping the heat on.
He's had a nice year. 3rd-round pick rookie so far. And this is money in the bank. I mean, you're getting him quality reps in games, and he's having an impact. And I do believe sooner rather than later, Aldon Smith, their best pass rusher, will be coming back to the San Francisco 49ers.
On a leave of absence for some personal issues, Brian Anger, who's been busy for Jacksonville. Kyle Williams coming up for this one. And fumbles it out of bounds. Backup quarterback for San Francisco, McLeod Bethel-Thompson was with the Minnesota Vikings earlier this year when they played over here in London against the Steelers, picked up by the 49ers, inactive for today's game. But his grandfather is Moose Thompson, who at this site in 1948 won the gold medal in the shot put in the Olympics. And there's a picture. He's now 93 years old, watching back in Long Beach, California. And McLeod Bethel-Thompson said it's great being here, the history, and people remember. He came around and talked to folks about that special moment. Kyle Williams on the catch and carry, and now he's looking on and watching his 49er teammates on a roll. In fact, Colin Kaepernick, Tim, his 2 rushing touchdowns today are the most he's had in a regular season game. He did have 2 rushing touchdowns during the playoffs in one game.
Yeah, when he rolled for 181 against the Green Bay Packers, setting a record for quarterbacks. Well, you just got in and talking to Dante Whitner, some of their players, they know how important it is in terms of stacking these wins on top of each other, getting ready for that playoff run, really trying to keep pace with the Seattle Seahawks. No one wants to go to Seattle.
Frank Gore has a first down up near the 44-yard line. Let's get a game break. Check in today for the first time with Joel Klatt. Hey, Joel.
Hey, Chris, and I'll take you to New Orleans, to the Big Easy. Drew Brees, 69-yard strike to Kenny Stills, the rookie from Oklahoma. That puts the Saints up 14-10 at home. Back to London. Chris and Tim, cheers.
Thanks, and same to you, Joel. We're enjoying ourselves, as are the 49ers. The Saints impressive.
Tell you what Jacksonville needs, a takeaway.
Yes, a takeaway. That's here they refer to that as drive-through rate food that you bring home.
Yeah.
So something we learned while we were here. Kaepernick on the run. He'll slide at the 45. There's a flag down back inside the 40.
They're going to get holding here, I believe, on San Francisco.
Holding. Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. Repeat first down.
That call on Mike Iupati, one of the 3 #1 draft picks that make up that terrific offensive line.
There's Iupati right there in left guard, who is just a mountain of a man locked up on Brandon Dederick. And there it was, as Dederick tried to get the edge and turn on Colin Kaepernick. Probably wouldn't have been able to get to him anyway. But Iupati wrapped his hand around his neck and restrained him.
1st and 20. 49ers haven't had to deal with anything like this so far. From the 34, the give is to Kendall Hunter, who will lose yardage. A terrific defensive play by Jason Babbitt, who is more known for sacking the quarterback.
Well, this time San Francisco got caught in terms of trying to show the offensive line all going one way. And you watch Babbitt, he just gets in the hip pocket of the pullers. Anthony Davis can't get back to him. And great penetration, and he just throws down Kendall Hunter.
Veteran of 10 years with 5 different NFL teams. We've heard his name mentioned with the NFL trade deadline coming up on Tuesday.
And he's always been a much better pass rusher than he's been a run defender. Pretty good job there by Babbitt defending the run.
Kaepernick sets up the screen to Frank Gore. The Jags were all over that. Up around the 35-yard line, it'll bring up 3rd down. San Francisco's had the ball for 17 minutes compared to just under 9 minutes. And Jim Harbaugh, who he's always kind of edgy when you sit and talk to him, but very, very focused about his team. He called it an oasis of football where they stayed outside of London to prepare all week for this, to make sure it was almost like a kind of a field trip for this 49er team. Third and 19, and it's incomplete, batted away. And the 49ers will they'll be forced into a punting situation here. Tyson Alu in his 4th year from California, knocking that ball away. First punt of the game for San Francisco, and Andy Lee, who is named the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Lee dropped 3 of the 6 punts inside the 20 last week in Tennessee. Ace Sanders has it. Stopped just short of the 20-yard line. A pretty good return before Bruce Miller made the stop after a 61-yard punt and a 16-yard return back to the field. And Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer.
Well, cheerio, Chris. You know, Phil Dawson is a self-admitted weather nut. I wanted to say that all day, by the way. He calls himself pretty psycho. He says, really, it's a borderline problem. But I tell you what, after 14 seasons in Cleveland, he's learned to be an amateur weatherman for himself. He spent a lot of time tracking the hourly rain forecast and wind directions for tonight, making sure he'd be ready for anything, Chris.
All right, Jen, and to the hurry up, at least to the line, the pass completed to Maurice Jones-Drew with a healthy gain on first down, something Jacksonville hasn't been able to do, and they're hurrying up to the line again.
And that's where Maurice Jones-Drew now, at this point, down 4 touchdowns, is going to have his biggest impact as a receiver out of the backfield.
Second down 1, and fighting for the first down is Maurice Jones-Drew.
Looks like Cameron Bradfield a little shaken up there, 78. Boy, these 49er linebackers will rock you. Maurice Jones-Drew, hard to get a square hit on him. He's so low to the ground, and shoulder pads and knee pads coming at you. And he just got juiced by Navarro Bowman.
De La Salle High School in Concord, California. Pass is incomplete for Mercedes Lewis. First target for him today. It was a decade ago for Maurice Jones-Drew, a California guy, undefeated in high school at De La Salle. The 2-minute warning here in the NFL International Series. 1 timeout, same for the 49ers. 2 minutes to go before the half. On second down, that pass is incomplete. Cecil Shorts the target. Off target.
I'll tell you what San Francisco's doing is number one, they're on point with their coverage and their adjustments. And that time Cecil Short came from the outside to the inside, which changed the technique and really what Carlos Rogers was supposed to do. He had that figured out, and then the 49ers getting very physical with their hands in terms of their press coverage and getting their hands on the receivers and really disrupting any timing Jacksonville's looking for in their passing game.
Chad Henne on third down on the run, on target. And the catch made by Cecil Shorts for the first down. In his third year from Mount Union College, a 4th-round draft pick born in Cleveland, Ohio, and hangs on as they hustle to the line after a gain of 11.
Very nice job by Cecil Shorts coming back to the football. That's what you got to do for your quarterback when you're running those out cuts. Downhill hard back at your quarterback.
Maurice Jones-Drew has it and almost spun through as he falls into 49er territory, and the clock continues to run. 1:15 and counting. Remember, just 1 timeout for each team. Visa halftime report. Kurt and the guys with all the highlights of all the other games. Week 8 from around the NFL. Pass to Shorts. And fighting hard inside the 39-yard line. 1 timeout. Jacksonville hopes to get some points before the end of the first half. It'll be second down and 1.
Now these receivers.
Tim, they're going to use their last timeout at this point with 50 seconds to go. So Jacksonville done for the remainder of this half.
Well, they're throwing to the middle of the field. They throw to the outside. Those receivers have got to get outside to stop the clock and get out of bounds.
Chad Henne, 8 of 15 for 57 yards. On the other side of the field, Kaepernick, 9 out of 15, 147 yards, thrown for a touchdown and run for 2. There he's talking to veteran Anquan Bolden, who has, Bolden is the only wide receiver on that, only wideout on San Francisco, has a touchdown. He has 2 of them this year with injuries to Manningham and Crabtree. They've held up.
Yeah, Kyle Williams, you know, the other wide receiver coming into the game today, and he's got a catch. Only has 11 on the year. I mean, you look at their complementary weapons, 2 through 5, 15 catches, 0 touchdowns coming into this game.
Pass is caught by Cecil Shorts. And slipping tackles for a first down near the 25 of San Francisco, wisely having to get out of bounds and stop the clock with no timeouts remaining.
Now this San Francisco, this is what you want. You just got to go make the tackle in the middle of the field, and Terrell Brown can't do it. Extra yards for Cecil Shorts, and as you said, wisely getting out of bounds to stop the clock.
Officially marked at the 26-yard line, so you're in field goal range for Josh Scobie with 43 seconds to play. Jacksonville wants a lot more. Fires and dropped by Shorts, who had room to, Justin Blackman had room to run, but he couldn't hold the football. Last week it was Cecil Shorts who had a couple of drops that cost the offensive flow.
That's what I talked about in the open. You get down in scoring position, you got to execute. And who knows for Blackman if he can catch that. There's one guy to beat. He breaks a tackle. He may score a touchdown, and he was thinking the same thing. Spun his head around, trying to get upfield and run. Did not look that football in and dropped it.
10th play of the drive. Back to Blackman. Cecil Shorts is knocked down, where it will be 3rd down, and the clock continuing to run right at the 20-yard line. 3rd down and 4. And that pass is incomplete, intended for Mike Brown. Cecil Shorts 5 catches in the game. Blackman has only 1 so far.
Yeah, they got to get some points here. I say kick the field goal, have an opportunity to go in with something positive. Clearly their best drive of the game. They can't get nothing out of it. They got to go into the locker room here at halftime and at least have something emotionally, Chris, to build on.
As a 38-yard field goal try from Josh Scobie, who's 9 out of 9 this year. And this is the best the Jacksonville offense has looked all evening on this drive. Trying from 38. Jacksonville will get the football in the second half to open. And the Jags are on the board.
Can't take the foot out of football. The fans love it.
The host team, the Jags, get 3. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee back stateside.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, a big battle in the AFC East featuring the Dolphins and the Patriots. Also, the Cleveland Browns visit the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Buffalo Bills go for a win in the Big Easy. It's all coming your way on the Visa halftime show.
Thanks, Kurt. A lot going on in the 49ers with a 25-point advantage and still chasing Seattle in the NFC West. The Seahawks had a 1-game lead, and they won the earlier meeting, of course. They'll play later in the year at San Francisco. The Seahawks play the Rams in St. Louis on Monday night.
And talking to these 49ers, they know how difficult it is to play, number one, the Seahawks, who's a very good team, but especially up in Seattle. And they were the only undefeated team at home last year, that being Seattle at 8-0. And Dante Whitner told us, he said, look, we got to stack these wins. No one wants to go to Seattle in the regular season. Certainly no one will want to go there in the postseason if Seattle can hang on and really acquire home field advantage. San Francisco will be looking to challenge that and get home field advantage of their own.
Josh Scobie kicking off. Kyle Williams on the run, and probably should have let that go. But no harm, no foul with under 10 seconds and no timeouts. This the NFL International Series. Vikings and Steelers played earlier in the year, and for this season the 49ers at Jacksonville. Next year there'll be 3 regular season games here. The Cowboys, with Jacksonville the host team, the Lions and Atlanta. The Falcons would be the host team, and the Raiders would be the host team with the Dolphins. That's in 2014 here at Wembley.
It's a great atmosphere. I don't know about you, but being here really all week and before the game in this stadium, these fans have really jumped in terms of their interest in American football, as you call it. And year after year, those numbers in the fan base continue to climb.
Colin Kaepernick with 2 touchdown runs and a touchdown throw has the 49ers out in front of the half from London, England. Let's go back to the States and Kurt Menefee for the Visa halftime report. Tim Wright, Chris Myers welcoming you back to Wembley in London, England in the NFL International Series, and nobody has it better than the 49ers right now, going for their 5th straight win. They've scored 30 points or more in each of the last 4, and they're on their way again with 28 first-half points. It seems like the defending NFC champs are in Super Bowl form, Tim, here in Week 8.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, they have scored on 4 or 5 drives, scoring touchdowns, 5 of 7 on 3rd down. Colin Kaepernick looks absolutely unstoppable. Of course, no turnovers forced by the Jaguars, and no sacks on the quarterback, Colin Kaepernick. They can't slow him down.
If you're winless Jacksonville and they'll get the ball here to start the second half, their best offensive approach was that hurry-up offense that got them 3 right before the half.
I think they need to stay with it. I mean, it was clearly their best drive. It ended in points with a field goal, and they're going to have to come out here in up-tempo. And unlike San Francisco, who've been great on 3rd down, Jacksonville's been terrible on 3rd down. they got to figure out how to execute better and play the ball control game and have play opportunities to score some points.
You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Gus Bradley, who, when I asked him his coaching style, his first year as head coach, he's a little bit of Pete Carroll, a little bit of Monty Kiffin in terms of coaches he takes his defense from. But he said it's a bit collegiate. I'm a positive, upbeat guy, and he's going to have to be with the team still searching for its first win of the season and down 25 here to start the third quarter. But they do get the football. Phil Dawson ready to give it the boot. Jordan Todman in the end zone. And once again, great special teams work by San Francisco, stopped at the 17-yard line. Let's go back down to the field. Jennifer Hale, who's been in proper attire with her hat. You changed your hat.
What happened?
Look, you're fitting in down there.
A little wardrobe change. I tell you what, I talked to Coach Jim Harbaugh, and he told his team, be as proud of how you played the second half as you were in how you played the first. Meanwhile, from my view down here, frustration written all over the Jaguars' faces. Coach Gus Bradley told me expect wholesale changes because they've got to do something different to get this team going. Also have an injury. Will Radley, right tackle, now being evaluated for a possible concussion, Chris.
Chad Henne on first down, throwing and completing under the 25-yard line as Maurice Jones-Drew.
Jim, good halftime adjustment. Like the first half hats, the second half hats better. Maybe the Jags will follow that suit.
All good here in London. We certainly hope that the weather, as Vernon Davis, who was busy in the first half loosening up, we've got a break so far without any rain and no wind inside Wembley here. A storm predicted for later this evening. It is a night game in the United Kingdom. And nowhere to go for Maurice Jones-Drew. Checking the statistics, as you might guess, 49ers dominant, and Colin Kaepernick at the controls.
And remember, we were talking about those earned first downs. 17 of those babies was just really allows Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, to start throwing the hardcore scheme at the Jacksonville Jaguars, showing them one thing and giving them another. And then that play calling menu, Chris, opens wide open for Greg Roman when they earn all those first downs.
We have not had a sack. We have not had a turnover in this game. Henne completes. Wilta-Fuo, the fullback, and fighting without his helmet.
Well, that's late on the whistle. When that
There's a
helmet
flag
comes
down.
off, that play is supposed to stop. That guy is in a high danger zone. The fullback there still trying to play without his helmet on.
Tafo caught it, was running and got hammered when the helmet came off.
Dan Scooter right there and rips it off at the end, the outside linebacker, and that play should have been stopped. As soon as that helmet came off, the whistle should have
Personal
blown.
foul, unnecessary roughness defense, a helmet-to-helmet hit on a defenseless player. It's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul and the dead ball spot, first down.
Didn't get a specific number. Are they calling that on Scooter?
Helmet to helmet. It would have been helmet to head because there was no helmet. And then again,
it's the official who should blow the whistle.
Got to blow the whistle and stop the play. The guy's a runner. The guy's a runner at that point. You can come up and hit him in the helmet.
Instead of a 2-yard loss, Harbaugh hot on the call, a 15-yard penalty. Always err on the side of caution and protecting the player. Here comes a flag and a whistle.
Ball start, offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
That's Austin Pastor. By the way, Cameron Bradfield is back in at left tackle for Jacksonville.
Good. And Coach Harbaugh is trying to figure out who called this. You hear him? I mean, there's no helmet to helmet
here. Now, the whistle should have blown.
The whistle should have blown right there. And then it's called right there on Glenn Dorsey, who never even hits the guy in the head with his helmet. That is just awful across the board for the officials. And Jim Harbaugh knows it.
On 1st and 15 from the 36, Chad Henne to Maurice Jones-Drew, who gets up near the 45-yard line.
That's all the 49ers are going to do, being up here 25 points, is they're going to drop everybody deep in coverage, play a soft zone, and then just force Chad Henne to unload the ball underneath and then rally up and make tackles.
It'll be 2nd down, 6. Denard Robinson checks in the game. At running back, there he is, number 16, the former Michigan quarterback. We saw him in the first half. He gets the football, and there he goes. Run out of bounds inside the 35. There's a flag down back in Jacksonville territory.
Not so sure it wasn't Brad Meester, the center, holding Navarro Bowman.
Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat second down.
It wipes out a 21-yard run. The veteran Brad Meester at age 36.
There's Meester right there, and there's Navarro Bowman, who's coming in flow, number 53. And you saw Meester reach right out there with the left hand, grab the jersey, and Navarro Bowman rip him down. Bowman gets up, looks at the umpire, and gets the call, as he should have.
14-year veteran. Meester's been around for a long time. He was drafted by Tom Coughlin in Jacksonville. He snapped the ball to Mark Brunell of the Jacks. That's how far back he goes. Denard Robinson, top of your screen, as a receiver on 2nd and 17. Pass knocked down right away is Cecil Shorts. And let's check in for a game break with Joel Klatt.
All right, thanks, Chris. We go to New England, and Tom Brady and the Pats struggling, but Brady to Aaron Dobson, 14 yards, and now Tom Brady, his 343rd touchdown pass, sole possession of 4th all-time. They pull within 7 in New England.
Thanks, Joel. But Dolphins still leading, as Joel pointed out. New Orleans beating Buffalo. Other games from around the league. Dallas on top of Detroit. Henny on target. Justin Blackmon with a catch in bounds. On 3rd and 11, they get the first down.
Good job picking up the blitz, and that's going to give the one-on-one opportunities outside. You need time to throw the ball on these deep comebacks. Henny gets it, puts it right on the money to Justin Blackmon.
To the 47-yard line of San Francisco. This is how Jacksonville finished the first half, moving the football. It ended with a Scobie field goal. Nowhere to go, so he goes outside. Maurice Jones-Drew inside the 20 of San Francisco. Eric Reed ran him down.
Well, this is where being short is an advantage for Maurice Jones-Drew, because he is slammed at the line of scrimmage. Willis, Bowman, they come inside. Maurice Jones-Drew sees a little crease, bounces it to the outside. The biggest running play of the day for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
He's 5'7", 210 pounds. His longest run of this season, 30 yards. Denard Robinson checks in at running back. They pitch it to Blackmon, who gets inside the 20. The 49ers were ready for that.
It's almost like Dan Skuta, the outside linebacker, knew it was coming. He did not even honor the run away from him. He just stayed right on the line of scrimmage, stayed square, got upfield. They want, when everyone goes that way, they want the OLB, the outside linebacker, to go down the field. And he's just sitting there waiting for this little toss reverse to Justin Blackmon, forces it back inside to all of his help. Well done.
A loss of a yard on 2nd down. Denard Robinson fake, and he throws and completes. Right at the 10-yard line is Justin Blackmon. Falling forward, it'll be 3rd and short. Blackmon had a drop earlier that he could have taken to the house, but he's come on strong here in the second half.
He's come on strong since he got back on the field. This being his 4th game back off suspension. I think what Jacksonville, and I hope their fans see Justin Blackmon and Cecil Shorts III as the great duo for many, many years now. They're not there yet. You remember Mick Cardell and Jimmy Smith.
Maurice Jones-Drew trying to get the first down, goes into the crowd.
San Francisco has been dominant over the last 5 games on defense. But one area where they're not very good, Chris, it looks like it's better here because it's 4th down, is in the red zone. Look at those red zone numbers for the San Francisco 49ers. That doesn't make sense with as good as they are scheme-wise and as many good players as they have on the field.
Well, Jacksonville is going to go for it. Some late substitutions for the 49ers. 4th and 1. Maurice Jones-Drew for the first down, knifing his way through the 49ers. Second half drive continues for Jacksonville.
And that's all Maurice Jones-Drew right there, because the 49ers had it bottled up big time inside. sending 8 defenders right to the middle of that offense, and Maurice Jones-Drew finds a little crack to the outside off tackle.
He had only 9 carries last week, 12 today. On 1st and goal from the 7. Penny to the fullback. Top follow. Knocked down. The ball came out at the end of the play. And the whistle has blown. Let's see. Looked like he got on his own fumble.
Patrick Willis came out of nowhere and knocked that ball out. Snap to whistle, this 49er defense. You talk about swarming. It's like a hornet's nest with these guys. And watch Pat Willis just come out of nowhere over the top and knocks that ball out.
Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis, maybe the best inside linebacker tandem in the game.
I don't think there's any doubt.
On 2nd and goal, Maurice Jones-Drew gets it back near the 5.5-yard line. Interesting call now, putting it at 3rd down. Maybe they're thinking 4 downs. They've already gone for it once on 4th and short. Spotted at the 6. Two tight ends in, Mercedes Lewis and Clay Harbor, and Justin Forsett at running back. On 3rd and goal. Cecil Shorts, top of your screen. Justin Blackman in the slot. To the left of the quarterback, Chad Henne, who hesitates, fires for the end zone and knocked away. He was going for Shorts, but the coverage was excellent by Terrell Brown.
These guys are so well coordinated on defense and understanding what's happening. Terrell Brown here, out there on Cecil Shorts, the 3rd. He knows right away on this release they're going to try to throw this little back shoulder throw. He doesn't take the bait, stays right on him, puts his body on Cecil Shorts and gets the big pass breakup.
They are going for it on 4th down and goal from the 6-yard line.
Boy, this is where you'd love to have a quarterback like Kaepernick who can run and make plays with his legs.
Penny has to throw it for the end zone. Incomplete. Mike Brown was open. The defender had fallen down. A disappointing end to an impressive Jacksonville drive.
Boy, that's a backbreaker. When you come out here and you run all those plays and you convert a couple of 3rd downs, you get down into scoring position, and you don't execute and make a play. Bad throw by Chad Henne.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Piccadilly Square, a hot happening scene, especially on Friday and Saturday night. We got to have dinner over there. People were friendly.
It's like Times Square times 2. Huh?
International flavor. 6.5 to go in the 3rd here.
Kill. Red 80.
Colin Kaepernick at the controls to Frank Gore. The 28 points that San Francisco put up in the first half are the most they've scored in the first half of any game this year. And again, we're pointing out that they come in having scored 30 or more in each of the last 4. If it happens today, it'll equal a team record that's been done twice before, going back to the 97 49er teams led by Steve Young.
Those are some great teams, weren't they? Boy, this rain, it looks like it's just starting to fall here at Wembley Stadium, and be an advantage to San Francisco considering their run game. And of course, Jacksonville's going to have to go to the air if they want to catch up.
Frank Gore patiently waiting for holes to open up and then finding them.
I am starting to be convinced that Frank Gore is part feline. I mean, you know the story with cats, right? If their head can fit through it, their body can fit through it. And Frank Gore, for so many years now, I mean, there is just a tiny crack. And focus on his feet. I mean, the patience, but watch his feet as he's able to slide through the smallest little areas and pick up positive yards. And you know why Greg Roman called him the best trap and power runner in the game. It's because of those patience, that vision, and those feet.
His brain and feet are in concert. Kaepernick fires and on target at the 31 is Bolden up near the 34-yard line. Bolden and Davis each with 3 catches in the first half. Kaepernick now 10 out of 16 after completing that for 17 yards.
It's almost like San Francisco because they got such a great feel in all the years against Seattle and what they do with Pete Carroll, and Gus Bradley's running a lot of the same stuff. I mean, this is like just stealing for them because I think they're so familiar with the scheme. The players aren't as good here in Jacksonville, clearly, as they are with Seattle.
From the 34-yard line, Gore back to the line of scrimmage. Let's check in again with Kurt Menefee for a game break. Kurt?
Well, the Patriots were down 17-3 to the Dolphins at home at halftime, but they've come back with 2 scores in a minute 46 seconds, the last being from Brandon Bolden. They find these guys everywhere, don't they? Tied at 17 in the third. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. Dallas ahead of the Lions in Detroit. Giants are beating the Eagles. Arizona plays later against Atlanta. Low snap handle. Gore on second down. It'll bring him third down. Looked like the ball came out again. And who's on? It was low to begin with. Kaepernick gave it to Gore, who tried to go forward, and Jacksonville has it. Russell Allen comes up with the football. San Diego State free agent, who's been around for a couple of years, coming up with the first turnover here at Wembley Stadium.
And this play was doomed from the start with the bad snap to Colin Kaepernick. Threw the timing off. Hard to see with all those bodies where that ball got knocked out. Russell Allen, of course, comes up with it.
Jacksonville takes over at the 33-yard line. Remember, they had an impressive drive of 78 yards to start this third quarter, but went for it on 4th and 6 and came up empty. Every turnover is reviewed by the officiating crew and making sure that they know how the ball was recovered and in possession. Ruled on the field, fumble recovery, Jacksonville.
I would think they're going to have to take a look at this. It was hard to see.
We will review the ruling on the field that the ball was fumbled.
I mean, if it was, it wasn't, but if it was confirmed that fast and they let him play it, the guys in the booth saw something I couldn't see in one look at it.
We'll take a closer look. A booth review on the fumble. Ruled a fumble on the field.
The ruling on the field stands as called. It's Jacksonville's ball. First down.
Jason Babin caused it from what we could tell. Russell Allen clearly came up with it, and the ruling on the field apparently not enough there to overturn anything. Gore,
absolutely.
And for Frank Gore, that's his second lost fumble of the season. And Allen with the recovery. So at the 28 of San Francisco, first down, Jacksonville.
Absolute must. They take advantage of this opportunity and get a touchdown.
There's time for Hetty to throw, and almost in the hands. A near interception by Tremaine Brock. He already has 3 this year. Look at his throw right to him.
And he runs this route for Justin Blackman. Tremaine Brock has been an outstanding asset since he's gotten in the lineup for Nnamdi Asomugha, and he just undercuts this route. It hits him right in the hands, and a good job by Blackman ripping at it with his left hand and really at that point playing defense and knocking the ball out. Their secondary has been better in San Francisco since Tremaine Brock's been out there.
Maurice Jones-Drew falls down inside the 30. You've talked about the turf, the dampness here, even though we haven't had much rain. 49ers, Tim, come into this game with an interception in 4 straight. This is almost a 5th.
Yeah, and again, it's Blackman who keeps his hand in there and keeps it alive and punches that pigskin out from Tremaine Brock.
Jennifer Hale told us at the half, Gus Bradley said, hey, there's going to be some changes here, and it may be by the end of this game. So if Chad Henne doesn't improve upon things, you'll wonder if Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, I don't know. One thing I'd change is quit running these inside runs with Maurice Jones-Drew down 25 points. Air it out.
He's airing wide open, and that's a touchdown, Jacksonville. Mike Brown.
You know, Chris, sometimes the guys that are getting all the interceptions are jumping routes, and Tremaine Brock has done that over the last 5 weeks. And it started against Houston. He's jumping routes. He thinks he's got this one figured out. Little stutter and go. He jumps it. Mike Brown goes. Perfect throw. Touchdown. Tremaine Brock got caught taking the cheese, as they like to say, thinking he had that route figured out, jumped it, and got burnt.
And Brown was open in the end zone on 4th down when Henne missed him, or Jacksonville would have had another touchdown. The kick by Josh Scobie. And Jacksonville is within 18 points after a 29-yard pass from Chad Henne to Mike Brown. And the host Jags are within 18. We've all had a jolly old time here in England, taking in the sights and sounds and enjoying now the NFL International Series, where the Jags, the home team here for the first of the next few seasons, bringing their home fans into it as Anthony Dixon returns and gets up across the 25. Near the 40-yard line, Scobie has to nudge him out of bounds, the kicker.
Tell you one thing, the people here have been unbelievably nice to us all week and generous.
And open arms about the National Football League. Of course, they love soccer and they love every aspect of the NFL, American football. The 49ers on offense in a moment. 49ers first down, that 47-yard kickoff return, the longest of the season for San Francisco by Anthony Dixon. Kendall Hunter in at running back. He gets the pitch and has room. Kendall Hunter still going all the way inside the 15. Allen Ball ran him out of bounds, or he'd still be running.
It is so hard for big offensive linemen to stay with cornerbacks out in space, and Joe Staley, Chris, does it once again. Watch the left tackle pull out here, Joe Staley. He is going to hit Russell Allen that time. Then Kendall Hunter takes a big hit from Jonathan Cyprien. Cyprien doesn't wrap up. Kendall Hunter runs right through him. But the guy that got it all started was that left tackle, Joe Staley, right there, number 74.
Two-time Pro Bowler on his way to another one. 41-yard run by Kendall Hunter. Frank Gore is in. And Frank Gore pounding his way inside the 5. Cyprien up to make the tackle.
Joe Staley, I mean, we just saw him a second ago in the last play, hitting linebackers out in space. Watch the push he gets right here on a defensive lineman. I mean, that's how you go to Pro Bowls. You get out in space and block linebackers and corners, and then at the point of attack, you get huge push in road-grade defensive linemen. Really good by Joe Staley.
They bring in the heavy Daniel Kilgore and Adam Snyder, 2 extra linemen.
Down.
On 2nd and 1, Frank Gore is not going to reach the end zone this time. Russell Allen, who had the fumble recovery moments ago, that fumble of Frank Gore, wouldn't let him go, but it is a first down. By the way, Jacksonville getting those points off turnovers. The turnover, I should say, last time around, they have 32 points this season off turnovers. The 49ers lead the NFL in that department with 75 points off of turnovers.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you look at this winning streak they're on of 4 games. It's, you know, the offense, the run game, Kaepernick has been terrific, but it's been the defense, as you mentioned, that have been knocking it out, especially in positive territory, giving it back to the offense.
First and goal, and Frank Gore in the end zone for another 49er touchdown. That's his second of the day. Kendall Hunter set it up with a 40-yard plus run.
Offensive linemen love run blocking more than pass blocking, especially when Frank Gore is running the football. And look at that double team. Joe Staley and Mike Iupati just driving the defensive lineman a yard back. That's enough of a crease for the body rocker Frank Gore inside to punch his way into the end zone.
Gore with 19 carries in this game for 77 yards. Fantasy owners of Phil Dawson are getting their share of points today. And it is the 5th straight game that the 49ers have surpassed 30 points or more. And that equals the team record that has been done twice before, going back to the late 90s.
49ers love Frank Gore, underappreciated nationally for what he really is.
Future zone infraction by the defense. The nose guard came into the neutral zone, causing the offense to move. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff at the choice of San Francisco. We will retry from the 2.
And when you think of 49er offenses, remember Steve Young, even going back to Joe Montana, who, by the way, was over here in London, England, as part of the NFL International Series, promoting the game. I mean, that was a lot about throwing the football when the great Jerry Rice and the offensive aerial shows of Bill Walsh, the head coach. But this is a run-first offense that when they need to throw, they do that too. 54-yard drive after the big kickoff return. Just over 2 minutes of time used up, and Frank Gore gives San Francisco a 35-10 lead. We welcome you back. Tim Wright, Chris Myers, Jennifer Hale on the field. That penalty enforced on the kickoff here, so the 49ers from the 40-yard line. And back to receive Justin Forsett for the first time today. Back as the kick returner. Poor field position was one of the many problems for Jacksonville in the first half. 52 seconds remain in the third quarter. And Forsett picks it up at the 2. Gets near the sideline and does a good job of at least getting across the 20-yard line. Well, Tim Ryan talked about Joe Staley and his great blocking. You list him officially.
Go, Joe.
Well, we're going to 6'5", 315 pounds, but in terms of pounds, that 14 pounds equal a stone, right? And hands, how you measure horses?
You get hands about 4.5 inches, so 19.5 hands, 22.5 stones for Joe Staley. Talked to him before the game, Chris. He's had a great time this week over here in the UK. He really has. It's been a great bonding experience for their already close football team who've grown closer together.
Maurice Jones-Drew, short of the 25. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee on how the Saints are doing.
And it's really how Jimmy Graham is doing. Bad foot and all. Played today, playing well. Second touchdown reception. That one from 13 yards out. It's 28-10. Saints in firm control over the Bills right at the end of the third quarter. Chris and Tim.
All right, thanks, Kurt. You talk about Jimmy Graham. Tim, you've called Vernon Davis the most complete tight end. I'd say those two have to be neck and neck.
Well, you look at their numbers, and they certainly parallel each other. Vernon's just so much better as a blocker. That's why I call him the most complete.
Pass is to Justin Blackmon after they fake the run to him, and he is run out of bounds near the first down marker.
I'll tell you somebody who's had a great time, and it's not his first time over here in London, is Dante Whitner, the safety for the San Francisco 49ers. We caught up with him on Friday afternoon, and this is his 8th time over here. He said he loves travel in the world and loves this city in particular. Going to be Hittner soon.
He said legally the name change underway. His mom likes it, so he'll continue to make it happen. And is the end of 3 quarters. At Wembley Stadium, the 49ers holding the upper hand on the host Jacksonville Jags. On 3rd down and 1, fighting as Maurice Jones-Drew. Terrell Brown came up to make the tackle. And it's 4th down for Jacksonville. And their unit still out on the field as if the offensive group's going to go for it here from their own 31.5-yard line. Gus Bradley says, let's go.
Come on, down 4 scores, you got to go for it.
Chad Henne to throw, and completes for the first down at the 39-yard line. Slade Harbor, the one-time Eagle and backup tight end, makes the catch. Chad Henne, by the way, congratulations to him and his wife Brittany, their first child, a boy named Chase. She was back home giving birth recently, and he said he hasn't been sleeping really well here with the time zone patterns. He might not get a lot of sleep when he gets home. On 1st and 10. 39-yard line of Jacksonville. For Maurice Jones-Drew. He was open, but Henne couldn't get him the football.
That's got to be frustrating for Maurice Jones-Drew. They get him matched up on a linebacker, just what you look for. He is wide open. I mean, he had run by the linebacker, and Chad Henne, he doesn't even get it close to him. I mean, he ran right by Dan Skuta. You put that out in front of Maurice Jones-Drew, and he breaks one tackle on the safety, and maybe he scores the touchdown. And I give him credit. I mean, the perception of Maurice Jones-Drew is he's been a malcontent. Chris, he's far from a malcontent despite these circumstances in the Jaguars winless.
Pass is caught across, the ball's out, and coming up with it for San Francisco's Dan Skuta. And he's still going down the sideline. Dan Skuta is in the end zone. Mercedes Lewis lost the fumble and more points off takeaways for the 49ers.
It looks like from up here it was Patrick Willis who's ripping at it. He's been doing that all game, and that's a theme the 49ers talk about every day in practice. Here's the throw to Mercedes Lewis, and it's Patrick Willis with that right hand that just comes in and absolutely punches it out. Skuta picking it up. Got the whole posse in front of him blocking, and I won't say run, I'll say rummages in for a touchdown.
Dan Skuta, we mentioned from Grand Valley State. When you think of the 49er defense and you rattle off names like Willis and Navarro Bowman and Carlos Rogers and Dante Whitner, even the rookie Eric Reed, he's down the list, but he's been steady and making a big play for the 49ers here with the return of the fumble for the touchdown. His first career touchdown in the NFL.
And really an added bonus. He was brought here to be a special teams player, issues at outside linebacker, great preseason, and Skuta making plays on defense.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Land Rover, Above and Beyond, by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL, and by Old Spice. Get unnecessary freshness and start winning everything today.
He lit up Wembley Stadium. The 49ers 42 points, a season high, as they are on their way to their 5th straight win after a 45-yard fumble return from linebacker Dan Skuta. Here's Phil Dawson with just over 13 minutes to play.
Think about this number, 82 points off takeaways for the 49er defense. And obviously the offense gets the ball back after a turnover, they punch it in, and the defense in this, what looks like going to be a 5-game winning streak, is going to be their 3rd touchdown in the last 5 games.
Jacksonville, their season high scoring has been 20 points. Jordan Todman comes back to return. He's the backup for the most part to Maurice Jones-Drew in the backfield. You're watching the NFL on Fox. Crowd in the neighborhood of 85,000 at Wembley Stadium, and if you're wondering where's Waldo, he's in there rooting somewhere. Got your telestrator? Oh, there you go. Okay.
Waldo's there, and there's a lonesome piece of cheese out there somewhere too.
Maurice Jones-Drew on the reception, spinning across the 30-yard line. And during the last break, the fans always entertained here. And I don't know if streaking has gone out of style at sporting events, but the Jacksonville mascot was entertaining folks. They even reenacted security here. But he got a cheer from the crowd when he got away.
You got to appreciate, and they're having a good time, all these fans. There he crosses the goal line. Is in a blowout game. Everybody's still here. They're digging it.
Maurice Jones-Drew near the first down at the 35-yard line. Looked like he got it. 17 carries for 70 yards for the 5'7" running back. 1st and 10, Jacksonville.
There's that lonesome piece of cheese sitting in the stands.
That's what you were talking about. Okay. Well, I liked it that on the way
lonely too. Look at him.
To the stadium here, there were people, what we saw, a Broncos jacket, a Dolphin jersey, of course 49ers and Jags, Raiders. Denard Robinson running it outside, and the 41 brought down. He's got the blazing speed. They're trying to find a place for him on this Jacksonville offense. And Tim, they told us over 200 transactions since the new general manager, Gus Bradley, brought in 26 players that are no longer on the roster that were here last year.
Well, and I think that's a big reason why Gus Bradley was given the job. You talked about his character, you talked about his positive attitude, but he's been part of a culture of rebuilding a football team. Up in Seattle with Pete Carroll, well over 200 transactions for those guys in their first year.
There goes Denard Robinson for a first down up near the 48-yard line. And it was such a tragedy. His father, Roy, passing away, as we mentioned, last Sunday. And he hesitated, knowing this was an important trip for this team and for the NFL to come to London. And ownership of the Jags, Shad Khan said, there's no decision. You go be with your family. And then, of course, he joined the football family on Wednesday, a touching moment, but said, you just want to make your parents proud. And you do that certainly in life and in passing.
I wake up every day with that same thought process, and I'm with him. And his dad was his biggest inspiration in his life. And I lost both my parents last offseason. So still important to keep them in mind every day you open your eyes.
Pass will be complete for second down. Colin Kaepernick with a touchdown run, or 2 touchdown runs and a touchdown pass. Colt McCoy looks like he's ready to come in and give the starter a breather.
That's like a starter who's playing coach right there to Colt McCoy and telling him, look, they're going to do this, and when the safety does this, this is the look we're looking for. That's where Colin Kaepernick is so underrated, Chris, is his command and his football intelligence of this offense. I mean, he is really like a coach on the field. That's what made Alex Smith so great. Colin Kaepernick's in that same vein.
Second down 3 for Maurice Jones-Drew, and driving toward that first down marker.
And that's why they've improved. I mean, Alex Smith was great at the brain part of the game, right? And a good thrower and a pretty good runner. Kaepernick is darn near on his level mentally, but a much bigger arm and much better legs. And that's why the 49ers are a better football team with Colin Kaepernick.
Drafted by Jim Harbaugh, coached by Jim Harbaugh. On first down, Henne's throw is caught. Mike Brown, who has the touchdown catch, is spun back around the 40-yard line. It's worth pointing out, though, that Alex Smith is undefeated and on his way to another victory as the Chiefs lead Cleveland in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes to go.
You can note that, but who would you pick on your team? Yeah, if you were on an airplane leaving for a game and they were both standing at the bottom of the stairs and you had one seat left, who would you let on?
Peyton Manning.
Or
Tom Brady.
How about the 5 guys drafted in front of
Aaron Rodgers,
Kaepernick? How about that?
Well, Blaine Gabbert, one of them. One was Jake Locker, who Kaepernick defeated last week. Maurice Jones-Drew is outside. There's a penalty flag down. Patrick Willis ran him down.
Holding offense number 86. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat second down.
That call on Clay Harbor will negate that run. One good thing for Jacksonville, I'm always the optimist here, Tim, you know me. The glass is always half full. This offensive line that had allowed 28 sacks of Jacksonville, the most in the NFL, they have not allowed a sack today, and they've put it up quite a bit. 37 attempts for Chad Henne.
Chad Henne's also gotten rid of the ball a few times too early and not let plays develop, like the one down in the end zone with Mike Brown. This offensive line's coming together a little bit. They've had buzzard's luck. I mean, I don't know how you trade Eugene Monroe, number 1. They did it to Baltimore. Move Luke Jokel, the number 2 overall pick, over to left tackle. He gets hurt the next game out.
Denard Robinson splits down to the bottom of your screen. Justin Forsett has the football. Gets some yardage back on the penalty. Let's check in on the Cowboys and Lions with Kurt Menefee.
Well, Tony Romo had only 88 yards passing before this play. Terrence Williams takes it 60 yards for the score. Dallas now up on the Lions 20-10 in the fourth quarter. Chris, Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. The leaders of the NFC East, Dallas, and the Giants are beating the Eagles. The Redskins play later today, America's game of the week at Denver, which will be no easy task for Washington.
What a terrific year that rookie Terrence Williams is having out of Baylor for the Cowboys. Wow.
On 3rd and 9. Caught by Brown, who puts a move on to get inside the 35-yard line. Terrell Brown was holding on to him, but they're still fighting with him.
DeMar Bowman just tried to rip that ball away from him.
That's what they call lawn mowing. That's a Jim Harbaugh term, trying to rip the fumble or the football away, cause a fumble.
Is lawn mowing a word?
No, but
I guess it is if Harbaugh uses it.
Well, he showed us that it was, you know how we can all relate to starting a lawnmower where you lean over and pull it back. And here's an example.
Yeah, when's the last time you started a lawnmower?
It's been a while, but that was my very first job before I started working.
Here it is. Rip at that thing.
You go. Well, the arm's got to come out. Right at the end there.
But the string recoiled on him. It was like something was happening. He couldn't pull that couldn't get that pull cord to
He took
to
that
pull
around
out.
with him. And it's going to be that much. Oh, my goodness. Game of inches, that's why it is referred to on 4th down. They've gone for it a couple of times.
You talk about lawn mowing, as Jim Harbaugh would say. They're trying to do it to Frank Gore.
Look at Tom Rathman, right? Former
Pre-game
running back.
warm-ups.
One of the coaches on the staff.
Not letting that baby come out.
We'll talk about Jim Harbaugh's idol in history, Winston Churchill. Special moment for Jim when he had a rare free moment over here in London in just a moment. But on 4th and inches, they've gone for it a couple of times. Once they missed in the end zone, another time they were able to pick up the 1st down. And we have a fan running onto the field that we won't bother to show you. This is not part of the mascot ceremony, but security will not let him go. And the fans are grateful for that. A slight delay here. It's happened a few times at a couple of different events at Wembley. Rugby, soccer, football, they've had concerts here. Some of the great music acts. Metallica, Foo Fighters, Coldplay, Madonna, U2. Could go on and on. Maurice Jones-Drew has the 1st down for the Jags. Jim Harbaugh said that his hero, his idol, Winston Churchill, a great person of history because of his leadership, how Churchill overcame adversity, his titanium spine. In fact, he went and visited the Churchill War Room, the below-ground bunker during World War II, where all the tough decisions were made. And the quote that Harbaugh told his team, "History will be kind to us because we intend to write it."
How many times did he say titanium spine? Just like his.
Like many great coaches, the interest in military leaders and their terminology. And he's throw. He got it in there to Cecil Shorts.
Now that's a big-time throw right there.
15-yard pickup and a Jacksonville 1st down. Looks like he needs out of the game.
Well, he's already been hurt. He came in here with a clavicle injury, a collarbone injury, did Cecil Shorts, and maybe he just re-injured it right there. Hope not.
Both teams will have a bye after this week, and then Jacksonville is at Tennessee. Chad Henne for the end zone, and incomplete. Justin Blackmon was back there with Terrell Brown. No flag, but it seemed like the fans here were hoping for a little shoving or at least a flag on that.
Well, Terrell Brown, what he does, and he's well schooled with experience, is you can have immaterial contact if you're looking back at the football. And Terrell Brown did that the whole way. Justin Blackmon, anytime he's been locked up one-on-one, he's such a big receiver that uses his body well. Really doesn't have that great speed to run away from the cornerbacks. When he's been matched up one-on-one, they've been sticking him like Velcro.
Justin Blackmon with 4 catches, but Cecil Shorts has come back into the game. On 2nd down 10, Chad Henne from the 16-yard line. The pass complete. Ace Sanders near the 1st down marker. The 5'7" rookie from South Carolina, who's been out injured. They're glad to have him back, part of that receiver rotation.
Those are the guys, when you see a lot of man coverage, which they've seen tonight with the 2 deep safeties, but man underneath, those inside receivers, Chris, they got to be the guys to make plays. And good run there, or good route, by Ace Sanders. Carlos Rogers has fallen down a couple of times. This slick field has not been good to the slot corner for the 49ers.
It is a 1st down, so from the 5, Jacksonville with a 1st and goal. Chad Henne fires, end zone, incomplete. Cecil Shorts over there, trying to push off Tremaine Brock. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 5. Watch 30 minutes of live NFL games free until October 29th. Call ** NFL to download now. Just under 6 minutes to play. Jacksonville with Gus Bradley. Looking up. Interesting formation.
Offensive lineman down here.
End zone throw is incomplete. Trying to get it to Mercedes Lewis, but an excellent defensive play by Dante Whitner. The
you got to put this up higher if you're Chad Henne. A couple of bad throws down here. Cecil Shorts was open the first time. If that ball's low to the outside for Cecil Shorts, he throws it high. Shorts can't get to it. That time, huge size advantage for Mercedes Lewis. Put that ball up high, 10 and a half feet where he can go up and get it, and Dante Whitner can't.
Lewis is 6'6". Whitner is 5'10". Now 3rd and goal. Justin Forsett is in at running back. Chad Henne keeps a strange play, and this is the area where Gus Bradley said Chad Henne has to be better in the red zone. We all want to improve when we get inside the 20, but this is an area, he's had drop passes, but he hasn't made the most of the red zone opportunity.
Well, and you know what it is. The closer you get to the end zone, the faster things happen, and the more pinpoint accuracy you need to have.
The field is
Why
short.
do you think Tom Brady is and Peyton Manning, these guys are so good? They know when they get down in scoring position, the best places to put the football in terms of accuracy where their guys can go get it. Henne has struggled with it.
Going again on 4th down. It's 4th and goal from the 3. We got a whistle here. Timeout. 49ers.
San Francisco. That's their first.
49ers lead at 42-10, but Jacksonville knocking on the door.
Today's game is sponsored by Pizza Hut, stuffing 3 cheeses into their crust since, well, this weekend it's new.
A look at Big Ben, and over here in the United Kingdom, this was the time to turn the clock back 1 hour. Back in the United States, most of the U.S. will do that next weekend on 4th and goal.
So we get to fall back twice.
Chad Henne completed to Maurice Jones-Drew, but you need to get to the end zone here on 4th and goal, and Tremaine Brock was right with him. A poor decision by Chad Henne.
Well, what you're hoping, and we've seen Henne already make a few bad, erratic throws into the end zone, is get the ball to your best player and hope Maurice Jones-Drew, isolated out there with the defender, can break a tackle and punch it into the end zone.
That was the 17th play of the drive. Jacksonville is now 3 out of 5 on 4th down tries, and Colt McCoy comes into the game to give Colin Kaepernick a bit of a rest with the bye week coming up and all the work that he's done.
Oh, poor Colt McCoy. I mean, all preseason and covering them. I can't tell you how many drives he had to start inside his own 5-yard line.
Kendall Hunter gets the carry. Let's check in with Joel Klatt for a look at the upcoming America's Game of the Week on Fox. Joel?
All right, thanks, Chris. First, after your game, we'll take most of you to Cowboys at Lions 2017 in that ball game. Then it's America's Game of the Week, Redskins at Denver, and Mike Shanahan's return to the Mile High City. Chris.
Thank you. And Jim Harbaugh leading the 49ers on their way to their 5th straight victory. In London, I was talking with Commissioner Roger Goodell at the embassy. He had to fly back to the States for the funeral for Bud Adams, the Tennessee Titans owner. He was asked while he was here, as Kendall Hunter carries about London hosting a Super Bowl, and he said, well, you have to have a home team in London before that happens. But the goal is, with 3 NFL games here next year, to have more games played in London over time. And of course the Jags have stepped up, and they will host over the next 3 years a home game here.
Well, I know there's some complications with the schedule, but I think eventually they'd like to have, in the near future, a game here every other week. So 8 games a year in London. I think we're going to continue to see those number of games grow as the years go on.
And he saw the fan base and fan reaction and said the more you play regular season games here, the more fans internationally attracted to the NFL. Bruce Miller with a catch and a first down, getting up near the 20-yard line. Colt McCoy in his 4th year, originally drafted by the Cleveland Browns, picked up as the backup, and Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, who has done a terrific job with Colin Kaepernick and with this San Francisco offense.
See that HC right there? There's a guy who is deserving and is eventually going to be a head coach in the near future. Greg Roman. You talk about a guy that is a great teacher and understands football and exploiting matchups and developing a game plan, a new game plan every week. Vernon Davis said he gets a game plan every week. He says, how am I going to learn this? Well, Greg Roman, the way he teaches in small bursts, guys don't lose focus. He's able to keep guys on task and keep defenses on their heels. He's awesome.
Kendall Hunter still going across midfield and into Jacksonville territory. And Greg Roman, he knows how to use all of the different talent on this San Francisco team. Remember, he's done it this year without Mario Manningham and Michael Crabtree, and now Kendall Hunter is in on the act.
And watch some of the blocks out here, and Bruce Miller, 49. Watch the fullback. Bang, body rock, knockdown on Allen Ball. I think one thing that helps Greg Roman, Chris, is he's a former defensive lineman, and he understands what gives defenses troubles in the run game in terms of all the misdirection and all the movement and shifts of the tight ends. He is on his game every week.
He has the right temperament to work with a guy like Jim Harbaugh and not only develop talent, but handle veteran players like Vernon Davis and Frank Gore.
I also know this. I mean, top to bottom, you win in this league with character, right? John Fox told us that 10 years ago, not characters. And I think Greg Roman's word is gold, and people know it around this league. There was a prominent year-in, year-out Super Bowl contender that offered him a job, right, several years ago before he went to Stanford with Jim Harbaugh. And Greg Roman had already been coaching in the league 13 years. And here's Coach Roman right here. And had already given Coach Harbaugh his word that he was going to go join him at Stanford. So this NFL team calls him and says, will you join our staff? He said, no, man, I already gave my word to Harbaugh. I was going to go join him at Stanford. That's unheard of. That's pretty good stuff.
His loyalty appreciated by Jim Harbaugh. And the 49ers, from Greg Roman to Jim Harbaugh, have a good thing going. We'll continue from overseas in just a moment. You're talking about loyalty in the coaching ranks. Some Jag fans loyal and hanging in there. Bonus coverage coming up with the Cowboys and Lions from Ford Field. Dallas with a 10-point lead. And you see the time remaining. We'll take you to that game live as soon as we wrap up here. 2 minutes to go. Kendall Hunter, who had the big 30-plus run, is powering his way inside the 40. Had an enjoyable time here in London despite the result on the field. Fans who seem there's a great fan base for the Jags, but they're seeing one of the better teams in the NFL in the 49ers peaking at the right time.
Absolutely, and I feel bad for them that it wasn't a better performance and more closely contested from start to finish, but it's a treat to watch these 49ers. They're on their game with the play calling, with the execution. You got primetime stars out here for the 49ers. It's fun to watch.
Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jags, who also owns a Fulham Soccer Club team here in London, talked about the American dream, you know, coming over, working his way up to become an NFL owner and bring a team here and expand the fan base and make the NFL more global.
Yeah, that was interesting talking to him the other night at the Winfield House. That was fun. The ambassador, the U.S. ambassador here in London. And that's what Shad said. He said, we hope on game day we give the NFL fans and the folks here in London an opportunity to experience greatness for a day and be part of the great league of the NFL.
Just over a minute to go here in the fourth quarter and a timeout on the field. An official timeout on fourth down, a measurement called for, and less than a yard to go. The 49ers will go for it, try and run out the clock and head home tomorrow with a 5-game winning streak. Jacksonville does have all 3 of its timeouts. The clock continues to run. And they'll take as much time as they want.
49ers, I mean, 5-game winning streak, second hottest team in pro football right now behind the Kansas City Chiefs, who won 7 in a row and leading Cleveland 20-17 right now. 49ers, Chris, will have a bye week, and then I think Carolina Panthers, right, and then a big trip to New Orleans.
And then Washington on a Monday night game. And the 49ers schedule, you just touched on it. Remember, they're chasing the Seahawks, who play on Monday night in St. Louis. Also St. Louis, the World Series, which you'll see later tonight on Fox. And Game 5 is Monday night at the new Busch Stadium. You know, Jim Harbaugh joked about coming to London and trying to do something to unnerve those Buckingham Palace guards. and if anybody anybody could do it, Harbaugh could, but right, they don't move. They protect and serve. Anthony Dixon, who had the big kickoff return earlier in the game, got the handoff and the first down, and the clock will count down. As we thank you for watching the NFL International Series, where the 49ers win their 5th straight, go to 6-2 Week 8 with a 42-10 beating of the still winless Jacksonville Jaguars from Wembley Stadium.
And a huge thanks, Chris, to all the folks here in London that treated us so well all week. I mean, they were so generous and so nice to every one of us at the hotel, out on the streets. They love their football. It's been a great experience, great atmosphere. I'd do it all over again anytime they want us to.
I'm sure the 49ers will as well, having another win in London. For Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, the Pepsi Game Break is coming up.